Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's class is a collaboration equipment class. You're going to need a yoga block. You're going to use a TheraBand. It could be a light, medium, or high resistance band. And you're going to need a small ball, not bigger than the size of a tennis ball. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. We're going to begin today's practice in a prone position, so on the belly. Take your block, place it flat, widest part out to the side, so that you've got a broad expanse of block to play with, and you're going to place it between the 2 feet. So take a moment to situate yourself on the mat. Placing the block between the 2 feet, you're going to bend and stack your arms, one on top of the other, resting your forehead on the back of your hands. We are going to come to an alternating tap position, lifting one foot and leg off the mat, tapping onto the block, and then coming back to your start position, and you're going to alternate for 10. Last set. You're going to keep the feet relaxed alongside your block, and we're going to come into some chest lifts, keeping the arms on the mat. You're going to roll up into a small chest lift and back down again, 10 times. After your last chest lift, we are going to come back to the legs, and you're going to lift both feet off the floor, tapping both to the block and back to your start position. Let's do 10. Keeping head on your arms. End with the feet alongside the block. Come back into your chest lift. This time we're going to lift chest and arms. We're going to peel off the mat and back. Once you've done 10 lifts, you're going to roll onto your side. Just slide the block out of the way. Keep it near at hand. We're going to be using it again in a moment. We're going to swing a low to the mat position. We are going to extend the bottom leg, and we're going to bend the top leg at 90, grounding the knee into the floor. You could give me a small prop on the bottom arm, or you could come all the way down on that arm. We're going to lift and lower the bottom leg for 10, using the inseam of the bottom leg to make that lift happen. We're going to end in the lift, and then you're going to give me one leg pull to the front, and then all the way through to the back. You're going to keep that hovering position as you move between the front and the back position. Keep the hovering position, come back to the middle, and give me small circles as if you were tracing the circumference of a tennis ball. Then 10 in the opposite direction. Once you've traced the last one, you're going to roll onto your back. You're going to recenter, align yourself on the mat. We're coming into a single leg stretch. You're going to begin with your back and your pelvis in neutral, and you're going to give me a small tilt and imprint to draw both legs up to 90. You're going to scoop to peel up. We're going to hold onto one knee and we're going to extend the other leg, finding a switch pattern, keeping that chest lift off the floor. Then let's switch to a double leg stretch, extending and bending both legs together. Last one. We're going to roll onto our knees from here and we're going to reach for our TheraBand. I'm using a medium intensity short band, but you can pick what works for you. We're going to grasp the TheraBand, fists looking down towards the floor. We're going to rest the band on our thighs and we're starting with the hands about shoulder width apart. We're going to lift all the way up overhead. We're going to give a small tug out and back to our start position 10 times. Then we're going to float the TheraBand up to about shoulder height. We're going to lock one arm in and we're going to open the other arm into the T frame 10 times. You're going to end in the T and you're going to give me small pulses. Then relax back down. We're going to come back to our first movement, bringing the band overhead and giving it a little tug. Then locking the second arm in at about shoulder height, we're going to open out the other arm to T. We're going to end in the half T and we're going to pulse. Then you're going to bring the band back down. And we are going to give ourselves a little bit more space. So you're going to open up the band a little bit wider. We're going to shoot for a 360-degree open. So as the band comes overhead, you tug a little bit wider, creating a little bit more space so that you can bring it behind you. And you're going to shoot for roughly 10 repeats. Then we're going to lift the band up to about shoulder height. We're going to open up into a full T and back to start 10 times. And in your full T, hold it. Little pulses. Relax back down. Place the TheraBand one side where you can reach for it again. We're going to set up our frame for the second side. So place your block right on the end, widest part out. We're going to come to lie on the belly. We're going to frame the block with our feet. We're going to find our stacked forearm position, and we're going to find an alternating foot tap onto the block for 10. Once you've done 10, you're going to come into your chest lift, keeping the arms on the mat, pressing off your elbow points. Shoot for 10 dynamic lifts. Back to the feet. We're going to lift both legs up, tapping into the block, and back down 10 times. Then 10 small chest and arm lifts. Then roll onto your side. Move the block one side where you can reach for it easily. We're going to come to lie on the side of the body. We are going to extend the bottom leg, bend the top, relax the knee to 90. You can do small prop or long pillow. We're going to lift and lower the bottom leg, keeping it long and lengthened. We're going to end in the lift, and we're going to leg pull one to the front, one to the back, keeping that hovering leg line. Come back to the middle, small circle with your big toe. Roughly 10 in one direction and then 10 in the opposite. Then roll onto your back, reposition yourself in the middle of the mat. For our leg stretches, one set of singles, one set of doubles. You're going to imprint, scoot to peel up, draw your legs into table, holding softly onto one knee. You're going to extend the other leg away, shooting for 10 sets. Then we're going to double up. We're going to bend and extend the legs together, keeping the integrity of that chest lift. From here, you're going to roll over. You're going to set yourself up in a kneeling position on the mat, and you're going to reach for your TheraBand. We're going to relax the TheraBand to the tops of our thighs. We're going to grasp it. We're going to pull it all the way overhead and out, and back to start 10 times. Then we're going to lock one arm in at about shoulder height. We're going to half T open 10 times. We're going to end in the half T and we're going to pulse. Then relax back down to the top of your thighs, overhead and out for 10. And you're going to lock in at about shoulder height. We're going to open out on the second side into a half T for 10. We're going to end in the half T and we're going to pulse. And relax back down, place the TheraBand on the floor. You're going to reach for your block again. And this one you're going to have to experiment and see the height that works for you. So this time we're going to place it on its narrower side, looking up to the ceiling. You can either do giving yourself about a medium height off the mat, or if you've got really long legs and a wider range of motion, you can flip it onto its narrower side and you can give yourself more height off the mat. So you need to experiment and you need to see what works for you. So if need be, you can stop the stream and restart again. We are going to come to lying on the belly again with a block between the two legs. Framing the block on either side. We're going to find that stacked forearm position and we're going to tap onto the block. Then we're going to shoot for roughly 10 sets. Try to keep your legs as long as you can while you're lifting and tapping. After 10 alternating sets, we're going to set up a swan articulation. So you're going to start to bring the elbows in towards the body line. You're going to place your hands towards the bottom end of the rib cage. We're going to find an imaginary marble underneath the nose. You're going to roll it away. You're going to start to peel your chest, pausing on your belly button. Then your two hip bones, your pubic bone, the tops of your thighs, your knees, pause. Coming back down with the same amount of control, tops of the thighs, pubic bone, two hip bones, belly button, rib cage, head. Let's do that twice more. You're going to pick up with control, thinking of each station that you're moving through, and then peeling back down with the same amount of control. Once you come down after the last one, you're going to find that stacked forearm position again. And this time we're going to do a hot potato lift over the block in an alternating fashion. So you're going to lift one leg up and over, tapping onto the other leg, and we're going to shoot for 10 sets. Once you've done your 10, you're going to come back into your swan line. This time we're going to work at a faster pace. So you're going to bleed up into your swan. You're going to come down. You're going to give me a small double leg lift, and we're going to shoot 4-5 repeats. Once you've done 5, you're going to roll onto the side. You're going to move your block one side. We're going to come onto the bottom elbow this time, or you can give yourself a small prop. We are going to extend the bottom leg. We're going to bend the top leg, and we're going to ground the foot behind the extended leg. We are going to come into a lifting and lowering position on the bottom leg. We're going to end in the lift, and we're going to leg pull just to the front. We're going to end in the neutral position, and we're going to trace a small circle with the big toe. 10 times in one direction. 10 in the opposite direction. And you're going to roll onto your back. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to ground your feet. You're going to float both legs up to the 90 position, and we're going to find a scissoring pattern, either keeping the arms alongside the body or tucking them underneath your bottom. So you're going to drop one leg, and then you're going to find a switch pattern. It could be a small switch. It could be a wider switch. Then we're going to drop both legs together, finding the drop range that works for you. It could be a wide range of motion. It could be a small range of motion. Once you've done 10 repeats, you're going to roll over to find your way onto the knees again. You're going to reach for your TheraBand, and this time we're going to open up the TheraBand and we're going to drape the band on the floor, and you're going to anchor it under one knee. So the side that you anchor the band under, that's the arm that you're going to work fast. First, you're going to grab the band. You can just scrunch it in your wrists. And we're going to do a hammer lift. So you're going to start with the arm alongside the body. We're going to pull up and relax back down. And you can readjust after the first pull, just seeing how much tension you want to create for yourself with the band. Then you're going to do 10 more, but we're going to add to it. So we're going to lift up and out. Shoot for 10. We're going to end out to the side, and we're going to pulse for 10. Then you're going to give what was your working arm a rest, and you're going to switch hands. We're going to start with the arm crossed over the midline, and you're going to grasp the band more or less at hip height. You're going to pull out and back to your start position. We're going to do that 10 times. You might need to readjust after your first time. Then come back to your first working hand. So the first time we grabbed the band and we had thumb looking up to the sky. This time we're going to grab the band and we're going to have thumb looking down. Try to have the band traveling on the inside, not on the outside of your fist. We're going to pull up to about shoulder height and back down. Same movement, but we're going to tug out, up, up, and out. 10 times. Last one, and we're going to change hands. And we are going to pull up on the diagonal towards the sky. Now remember which knee you had your TheraBand anchored under, because the next time we're going to work opposite leg. All right, so we're going to come back to our prone position. So remember, either long narrow side or short narrow side, depending on how much height you need for your legs off the mat. We're going to come into our prone position, framing the block, taking a narrower leg line, and we're going to tap onto the block and back to the floor. 10 times. 10 full sets. One tap on each side, completing one set. Then 3 swan articulations. Disconnecting with control, reconnecting with control. Then find your stacked forearm position. This time we're coming into a hot potato lift over the block. And we're looking for roughly 10 complete sets. Once you've done 10, we're going to come back into our swan articulation and a double leg lift. And we're shooting for 5 repeats. Bleeding up, bleeding down to lift. Once you've done 5, you're going to roll onto your side. You're going to move the block out of the way, coming to rest on the side of your body. You could be medium or lower to the mat on that elbow. We're going to extend the bottom leg. We're going to bend the top, anchor it behind our working leg, and we're going to find a lifting pattern on the bottom leg. We're going to end in the lift. We're going to hold the height, and we're going to pull to the front and back to our start line. We're going to keep that hovering position. We're going to start at the midline, and we're going to trace the circumference of a tennis ball. Roughly 10 traces in each direction. Then roll onto the back, bend your knees round your feet. Arms could be relaxed at your sides, or you can tuck them underneath your bottom to support your lower back. We're going to float both legs up to the 90 position, and we're going to find a scissor pattern, dropping one leg and then switching. Once you've done roughly 10 sets, you're going to double up, dropping both legs together, finding the drop range that works for you. Keeping that work in your belly and not transferring it to your lower back. All right, from here, we're going to roll over. We're going to find our way onto the knees. You're going to reach for that TheraBand again. And remember, we are working the second leg this time. Open up your TheraBand. Make sure it's not twined in on itself. You're going to anchor it under your second leg. We're going to do a hammer lift first. So you're thinking fist holding onto the TheraBand with your thumb looking up to the sky. We're going to pull up and come back down. And you might need to readjust the tension on the TheraBand after the first one. Keep the arm extended the whole time. Once you've done roughly 10 lifts, you're going to add to the movement. So you're going to give me a lift and you're going to give me an open out to the side. Let's do one more. Then we're going to change working hands and we're going to pretend that we're pulling a sword out of its scabbard 10 times. Come back to your working hand. We're going to grab the TheraBand in a fist again. We're going to try to have the TheraBand traveling on the inside, not on the outside of the fist. You're going to find a comfortable grasp position. And this time, your wrist is looking down towards the mat. We're going to pull up to about shoulder height and back. And you might need to readjust after your first pull, finding the amount of tension that makes you work. Once you've done roughly 10, you're going to add to the movement. One pull up and out to the side. Then we're going to change hands and you're going to think of pulling that sword out of that scabbard. Once you've done roughly 10, we're going to come back to our first arm because I forgot our little pulses. So you're going to just give me one lift up and out, and we're going to work little pulses for 10. Then you're going to release the TheraBand. Just make sure that that little ball that I asked you to have is closer at hand. So bring it closer to hand. You're going to come to a stand. You can keep your current orientation on the mat, I'm going to give you a side view so that you can see what we're doing with the body. We're coming to a working roll down combination, and instead of having the arms relaxed at our side today, we're going to reach them overhead, and we're going to begin in a nice tall reaching stand. Then we're going to take a soft dive over an imaginary Swiss ball, hollowing out the belly. We're going to aim for the mat. We're going to do fingers to floor, or you can reach for your shin. And we are going to take a side to side twist. And then we're going to roll back up, floating our hands overhead. Take that soft dive, come to the mat, then slight rotation to open up into a soft T-frame. Peel back up, restack, realign. We're going to shoot for roughly 5 sets in our own time. You could also place the block on the floor in front of you and maybe work off the height of the block. So if the block is on the floor, you could be twisting with the aid of the block. Let's do one more, and then we're going to reach for that ball, and we're going to start to play with the ball. So rolling back up, you're going to take the ball, you're going to place it on the floor in front of you, and you are going to use the ball. You're going to roll it around underneath your foot. You're going to think of massaging behind the toes. You're going to think of massaging the ball of your foot. Maybe you're taking it into the arch of your foot. Maybe taking it onto the outside of the heel, bringing it all the way back. And you're just going to play with that massage. If you find any tight spots, you can linger. And then we're going to repeat on the second foot. And you pressing into that ball with as much force as you need to give yourself a good massage. Looking for those tight spots. If you find them, linger. Then you're going to take the ball, and we're going to think of massaging the pecs, the top of the pecs. So you're going to just give yourself a little rolling massage, making sure to work both sides. Then you can stay here, working on the pecs, or you can start to massage down the arm in a rolling like fashion, maybe working into the triceps. Maybe you'd like to play and release through the forearms. Make sure you work both arms. You're rolling around, you're looking for little knots, and rolling them out with the ball. And don't be afraid to really get in there if you find a tight spot. You could even take it onto the shoulders. And you can linger here, pausing the stream to give yourself a really good massage if you're really tight. And then we're going to end massaging into the palms of our hands, looking for those tight spots. Maybe extending it into the fingers. We're going to end with a soft prayer-like squeeze into the ball and release. Squeeze. This is where we're going to end our practice for today. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today, collaborating with me today. Till next time, keep it light.